Hey. Hey, I'm good. Sorry, I forgot. I forgot I was here.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I wanted you guys to finish up your thing or whatever.
Yeah, that's our intro. We just say hi. Yeah.
You guys had that little groovy beat going on at the beginning. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a TV opening, right? Like. Yeah, I like that. I like that one.
Really masterful.
I just wanted everyone to know that we were live.
It's exciting, guys. Come on.
So I think it would be. I don't think it'd be fair, if I didn't say my own guy. So, like Amir Hurwitz, Amir Valerie Hurwitz. Actually, he's a center fielder in Milwaukee. And he just seems like a very active dude who's excited to be part of the team and part of the league. He did a press conference after we're going to be starting him in the out and maybe DH. So yeah, I mean, we're excited. Looking forward to getting him some playing time. But that's my favorite one personally because he, actually signed with me. Yeah.
You took a liking to his name for some reason.
Oh no.
Man, it's so interesting. Real interesting. Fascinating.
Hey, Jay. Lane says that we can only hear me. Yeah, we can't hear anyone else. Yeah.
All right, so hello, everybody. I guess should we start over then?
Up to you, man. I don't know.
Yeah, let's start over again because
That's up to
nobody
you.
could hear me. So hey guys, welcome to MLR Tonight. This is the first episode in a while, and yeah, we're excited to be here. We're excited to kind of shoot the shit, be a little more casual today. I'd like to, since this is a different computer since the last time I streamed, so I do not have a lot of the presets. As you saw there, my fucking mic wasn't set, so it's perfectly fine. I mean, we got like 5 seconds in, and yeah. So if you hear like a weird audio problem, like maybe Kevin's too loud compared to me, or like I'm too loud compared to Chuck, then
Or
yeah.
you want Chuck to shut up? You know, that's another one.
Yeah, I can do that. I can totally do that. But yeah, I guess I'll just reintroduce you guys. We have Kevin Arianna, who's on every time we do this fun stuff, and we have Chuck McCluster, who's new to the podcast scene. But hey, guys.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, how's it going?
So
Hi.
I guess I'll reintroduce what we were doing there because people just heard Kevin kind of talk about his new free agent. But yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about the free agents that just joined because we had a lot of them, and we were just gonna kind of give them recognition. Just talk about who we think is gonna be the mainstays. Just kind of maybe go around a list, maybe name them off, and see who we think is gonna be the biggest. And as you heard, Kevin obviously repped his guy Amir, and I mean, I signed Noah Koufax, who's a pitcher. He's a Reddit only pitcher, so I'm not too sure about him yet. I mean, Chuck McCluster started out as a Reddit only, so I'm not going to be too quick to DFA, but I'm going to start him and we'll see how he does. But as far as the Discorder guys go, I mean, I'm really impressed already with Tequila Sunrise, who has a great name, and I don't know if I can sign him because I have three third basemen already, and I kind of want to use my remaining roster spots or remaining roster spot wisely. So, but he definitely, I mean, he's coming here swinging, no pun intended, and he definitely just seems very eager to start in this league, and he's also a Phillies fan, which is great. But how about you, Chuck? Who do you think is a really interesting, interesting free agent?
Well, if I were to name anyone, I'd probably if that's how you say it. Fuck.
Say that again.
John Bumbus.
Oh, that guy.
Is
Yeah.
that his...
John Bumbus.
Yeah, that guy. The Rockies' third baseman. They just he seems really enthusiastic to be that. You know, he's immediately active on Discord, asking questions, all that kind of jazz. It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's not Chuck's fault, by the way. It's we've got a little bit of issues with connection and stuff. Hopefully that will be fixed the next time. But people might cut out a little bit. Sorry about that. That's my fault. It's not Chuck's. But yeah, we heard the gist of it. John Bumbus. He's definitely a fun guy. But who else is there? I mean, we got the Thaddeus dude and the guy who we thought was Thaddeus initially when he signed out with Connor Morgan.
What's Thaddeus? What's his name? It's Thaddeus. Something like that. It
starts
right?
with an N, I think, but maybe I'm wrong.
It's Gamora. Something.
Oh yeah, it's like Gamoro or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure what his deal is. Or is he signed? I'm not sure. But we've got him. We've got Phoenix Douglas, who I now.
Yeah, Phoenix Douglas. He was one of the first guys. Yeah, he signed with the Athletics.
Yeah. So just a bunch of free agents joining recently. I guess mostly thanks to the ads on the Phillies and the Rays subreddit. But yeah, it's good news for sure. You know.
And it's definitely good news for those rosters who need to rebuild themselves, kind of add more warm bodies, and I mean they're currently doing so. I mean Phoenix signed with Oakland. We probably will see Connor Morgan sign with the Cardinals if Sale wants to do that. But yeah,
I saw the Mariners signed someone, and I know they just lost their GM and they're kind of getting their stuff together again. So That's
Yeah, I
another
think
good one.
this is a good time to sort of transition into who we think is the who we think are going to be the most impactful new GMs in this league. And I mean, you mentioned the Mariners. I think Kyle Corbett has already come out swinging very well. I think he's signed a few people now, and one of those is Connor Strong, I think his name is. And yeah, he made that trade for Cameron Brate. It was an exclusively clubhouse oriented trade, but I think Cameron Brate's a very awesome dude. I've talked to him a lot. He's around the Discord all the time, so I think that's gonna do well for the Mariners clubhouse, along with Lee Allen Ripley. Yeah, so I think when it comes to mainstays, I mean, Kyle Corbett's been here for a while. He's been one of the most active and just around guys in this league, and just Kyle Corbett, I think if anybody can be here, be active, and fix their team, I think Kyle's the guy to do it.
Yeah, and to talk a little bit more specifically about Kyle, in the few days that he's been the GM for the Mariners, he's already completely retooled their pitchers pretty much. Because if you think about it, he made that trade, for Cameron Brate, which involved actually trading away one of their pitchers, I think Artie Ziff. And he just dropped Jarace Walker.
Yeah, Jarris Walker.
Jarace Walker.
He had a great first game, and then he just kind of fell off the map, it seemed.
Yeah, I think it was a more activity based drop, but yeah, it's good to see that. It's good to see a new GM come in and just make moves, which I think is kind of something I tried to do when I became the Brewers GM.
And you've done really well with that so far. I mean, if I had to think of a guy who's come in and done moves for their team, I would think you've done a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, I mean, we're only one session in when, the first game as I've had as GM, and we have a lot more Discord activity now, so it's looking good for the Brewers, I think.
What about you, Chuck? I mean,
I want to say for my pick.
Okay, fine. No, go ahead.
Sorry. I think has been doing a great job as a GM.
Well, besides yourself, obviously.
Yeah, besides myself, JP Panic, the Athletics.
Yeah, I like JP Panic a lot.
Yeah, the dude is amazing. I mean, he just I think he was one of the new GMs to come in, and he had nothing pretty much. Like he
legit just had nothing.
Yeah, exactly. He told me like 2 people on his team like replied to his messages when he sent out messages just to see who was around. So yeah, it's rough. It's been rough for him, but he got some help trades, and the A's will
survive. He's an A's fan too. He's an A's fan.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's nice to he can take control of his own little person.
Even better.
Nice.
Yeah, it's I think recently he reported that he now has like a fully functioning 9-man roster, awesome. Which is I
that's
think
crazy. That's honestly crazy.
It's incredible, and I'd like to use this time to thank the existing GMs for sort of helping out with that. I know a lot of them kind of gave up players for players to be named later, and just kind of gave up players that they thought could help these teams. And I think people have been very generous, and I think we have a good group of guys here that are really willing to help out the league and their fellow GMs, which is really great.
No, I love just seeing just sort of a sense of camaraderie going around the league, just trying to keep it afloat.
Yeah, and also, shout new GMs. The St. Louis Cardinals, Sale. Sorry, did you have Chuck?
Well, I was going to talk Sale. I know you guys were talking about Kyle earlier. Yeah, the guy for a while. I like to give him shit a lot, but he honestly, pours his heart out into the game. He makes fake majestic. That's a pretty cool thing. And while he was captain of the Red Sox, trying to get people to put in their swings in for Peppers, helping out with that. I probably going to be the most impactful GM, at least in my eyes. Sale in St. Louis, that's pretty good. He's always active, or at least active enough. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think I think Sale's gonna do a great job too, and he has a lot of friends on the Cardinals already. So that was just
Well, we say Sale, but his name is actually You know,
Oh God.
He's
Yeah.
gonna say
dong
it.
huge, dong huge man child. You mean him?
Yeah.
The
I
great
mean,
Don man child.
maybe he'll go by a more professional name now that he's a GM. Probably not.
Mr. Huge, Mr. Huge.
He's following a guy named Jefferson Steelflex though, so
Yeah.
I mean he has to really follow that up well. But yeah,
Johnny Dick Shot.
let's sort of go into trades actually, and we're gonna kind of see kind of talk about who like the trades that have been happening recently. I mean, as we said, a lot of GMs have been pitching in to sort of help the less fortunate teams, and so far it's been doing very well. And beyond that, though, there's been a lot of trades that have sort of blossomed from this very active trade season, and you know how the deadline's coming up soon. But yeah, what do you guys think is the definitive trades of the last few sessions?
Do you want to start, Chuck? Do you have an answer for this one? Go.
I mean, I can start.
Well, I like the trade that you did. What was it? Manager Zone and someone else, I think, for Jamison Poe, right? Is that what your trade was?
Yeah.
Wait. The Dan Jerzone, Jingo Bajingo, and Dark Bobman for Jameson Poe and Amberix Might Have a Petty. So that was from St. Louis, Milwaukee. That's what it was.
Well, I like that. Just sending more activity to the Cardinals. I know they were a team that was kind of on the down. I like that just in that sense. You have anything to add there, Kev? I know that's your trade.
Yeah. I'm happy with it right now. We'll see what happens over the next few days, few sessions. But as of right now, I'm happy with it. It might not end up making a huge difference depending on the moves that we make, moving forward. But yeah, I might we might be doing a little more with our pitching staff in the future. But I think it was a good trade. I'm glad we made it. I personally like in terms of like recent trades, I don't know if they really count as much, but obviously, like Jay was saying before, the teams that traded away future considerations or players to be named later for the teams that didn't really have active dudes. So like to Oakland got Shiny Tenson, they got Jamarcus Speed, they got Moritz Stifle, they got Dick Fur. So that's kind of
we all laughed at that.
I thought that was kind of cool. And there's just been a bunch. I mean, I feel like there's been a lot. Maybe the transaction sheet isn't updated, but a lot of trades lately. Maybe it just feels like that because I made a bunch. But yeah, I know Jay had a different answer, and I didn't want to.
I was gonna shout out my the wonderful, exciting three team trade between my Philadelphia Phillies, Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and Houston Astros that sent Wade Wilson to Tampa. It sent Heinrich Omega to the Phillies, and it sent Owen Urich to the Astros. I mean, it wasn't really a secret that I was trying to give Urich a new home. I mean, I love Urich. He was always a nice guy to me. It was just a matter of my bats weren't really doing very well, and I had three good pitchers that I thought I could spare one. So basically, I was like, hey, I need to get a bat for Urich. So I'd been looking for one for Sessions, and I finally found one in Omega, and it worked out, and I'm really happy. He's been active in our Discord, and I feel like he's going to be a great addition to our offensive lineup. I don't think we'll be too competitive this year, but I'm trying to just get a new sort of team identity. I want to make sure that people don't think of us as like LOL Phils. That we're kind of more than that. That we have the pieces to make it happen in 2018-19, and I want to finish this year off very strongly. I want to get a lot of wins at the end here. I don't think we're gonna get a wild card because the NL East is so ridiculously competitive, but I would love to just get a bunch of wins here. Hopefully, finish at 500 or above, and hopefully be in a good spot for next year.
What do you guys think about the the trade deadline coming up, do you think we're going to see a bunch of moves, make playoff pushes for those teams that are in those positions, or like
I mean, it'd
just
be exciting to see. It for sure would be exciting to see. I can't really say I know anyone who's really. I don't know. To add there. What about you, Jay?
Say that again.
for the upcoming trade deadline, do you think there's going to be a lot of GMs looking to make moves before that happens? Like whether it's teams that are going to make a playoff push, that are looking to rebuild and trying to get some new guys.
Well, I hope. When
Yeah.
I initially made that trade that deadline, I was like, we need to have this like very tense, this very tense moment where like we have to make trades now, and hopefully that will spark some interesting deals. I personally, I wanted to be a part of it, but I think considering the amount of trades I've gone through now, I think I can officially say, barring one or two possibilities that I've tossed into the air, I'll say that the Phillies are probably closed. But I do hope that there are a lot of great deals. I mean, I'd like to see some from the AL East, who is just, there's just so many competitive teams in that division, and I think just like, I really hope they all just creatively try to strive to sort of get their team out ahead with one or two pieces that normally without them they would not have been able to achieve it. I'd like to see the Red Sox go out there and try to get some people before the deadline. I mean, I know they have some clubhouse sort of sparsities, as Chuck may know, and I think that the Red Sox are very good as a team, and they just need to have that team identity. So I'd like to see them sort of go out and get that before the deadline. But I mean, Cleveland probably will need a lot. I mean, if you haven't read Kean Davies' mock trades, I mean, one of them at least is kind of outdated, but I think that there's plenty of possible trades that would benefit the teams that would be doing them, and I just think that we have not seen the last of trading, and I think this trade deadline is going to really sort of light the fire under these GM's feet and just kind of get some very exciting deals moving.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to see just a little bit more of an identity based around the Red Sox, like you said. It's all up to Peppers.
Yeah.
My lovely GM Peppers.
Yeah, Peppers is pretty cool. I'd like to see him. Yeah, I'd like to see him get more of a clubhouse like he did in, I don't know, session 5 or 6 of this year. I mean, if he can turn around again, that's the AL GM of the year, no doubt about it. Win the paper cup or not. I mean, that team really charged, and I'd like to see them sort of perfect it a little bit more and just like solidify dominance over that ridiculous league. But yeah, you guys have any other things to talk about before we get into games?
I just want to see more trade deadline. I good spots, but yeah, I don't know. It's just
I love
it's cool
trades.
it's cool to see what people go for, and maybe
all crazy packages.
Exactly, maybe with the agent signings, a lot of teams that didn't really have people to trade for, a lot of assets have more, have more options there to make. So, yep.
Okay. So we're gonna be switching over to maybe a traditional way of going about this, and we're just gonna quickly go through these games and sort of talk about them and see and talk about what's been going on and how these teams might fare going into I guess I would say the home stretch of the season. I mean, we're getting close. I mean, we got 6 more games left until the playoffs, and that'll go by quicker than we think. So first and foremost, we were gonna talk about Milwaukee and San Diego.
That's Montreal.
Montreal, same thing. I did that before. I think I've said that multiple times because of that M.
Some northern team.
Yeah,
some northern team. I don't know.
Exactly.
Right.
One of them.
But yeah, that game is one of the ones that are finished right now, and San Diego wiped the floor with them, at least initially. I mean, they had a pretty decent come from behind at the end of the game. Fifth and sixth inning, they scored 4 runs, but it was not enough. And I mean, Cal Tiberius Jr. with 9 earned runs. What do you see from the old Cy Young Award winner?
Oh, hold. All the runs.
Yeah, it was all him.
Wow. I thought it was Holo Cologne that gave up some of those runs. Wow, that's actually a little surprising to see that he was able to give up 9 runs before he was taken out there. And I guess they all came in like 2 innings, yeah. Damn,
They
that's
really
rough.
struck first, yeah. I mean, I guess this is a good thing for Bartolo Colon, who, I mean, as we know, the Expos, they've really they have not had a pitching presence beyond Cal Tiberius Jr. At least not too much since Junks Tandem, who was one of the original Braves pitchers.
That's a throwback right there.
Yeah, man. So definitely.
That's before my time. I don't know what you're talking about.
So definitely, we see a new face in this pitching rotation that could mean a lot. But I mean, does this spell the end for the Expos? I mean, I know we've been talking about it for a while. We didn't think the Expos were a team whose record really shows their overall talent. I mean, do you think the Expos are going to come back from this, or do you think this is the beginning of the end?
Yeah, we have sort of a running thing on this show where every time the Expos come up, we kind of say that they're not. We don't think, that their record up till this point doesn't really indicate how good of a team they are, and that they're probably gonna not do as well later on in the season. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing now. I think this puts them at 7-5.
Yeah, they're 7-5 right now.
Which they were at the very top of the league at one point by themselves. I think they were the #1 record in the whole league. So yeah, I mean, I think it just a lot of the stuff that we talked about before, like the fact that they have some good offensive pieces, but not really anyone like amazing, and they have the pitching of Cal. When he does well, he's very, very good, but no one else to rely on aside from him. And if he ever gets blown up, they don't really have a chance. I think
Cal's a really streaky pitcher.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say Cal's a really streaky pitcher. I feel like some games he can go complete without letting up any earned runs. In the next game, like this game, he just gives up 9.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that also kind of explains. We had a moment in time when Jay would bring up Cal Tiberius Jr. a lot when he was talking about good pitchers, and
I remember that.
Jay was a little bit upset. And so it just goes to show you that when he's doing well, like there's reasons to talk about him, to bring him up, and to call him in the league. And then we get closer to the All-Star break and doesn't even make All-Star. He's definitely streaky. I think this game has somewhat to do with the Padres. They started off the season slow, but I think they've kind of been ramping it up lately, and they have a role recently. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Guys too, like I mean, I know a lot of them kind of stick to their clubhouse, and they're not like super active in the main Discord, but yeah, I mean, I'm not like before it used to be like, oh, who's even on the Padres? Like, who are all these people? But now I look at all these names, and they're I know them. Like they're maybe one of the best teams in the league in terms of like name recognition and
exactly.
It's weird, isn't it?
I looked at because we recently optimized the Discord just to show teams, like clusters of teams in the sidebar. And I mean, like, I looked at the Padres and I was like, wow, there's a lot of names here, and I know all of them. I mean, Caleb Athen, Forehead Jones, Kaylee Stewart. I mean, even without Dong Huge Manchild, Sale. I mean, they've got a good presence here. Cannonball Dickerson. I mean, I think we've given them a hard time, but I mean, obviously they've got something here, and they won their last game, I think, before this, and then they come in here and they win another one. It's been very, very successful for them.
Yeah, it is crazy because we really did start off just making fun of them, sort of, and they were kind of like one of those teams in the league that you kind of beat up on. But Yancey, Dickerson, Jones, Caleb Athen, Catfish Acid, like Kaylee Stewart, these people are just, I don't know, they're like I don't really know how to say it. It's kind of like subtle, but they're they're big names in the league.
Yeah, they're
Also,
sleeper picks for the NL West, I think, because that's a weak division and they can do it.
yeah. Since we were talking about free agents earlier, it looks like DubeTuber, first baseman, is going to be signing with the Montreal Expos. So,
There you go. Good for them.
yeah, we'll see if that can kind of
Maybe
help
he's the
there.
X factor.
Yeah,
The Expos
exactly.
factor.
The Expos factor. Yeah, we'll see.
I had to do it, man. I had to do it to him. But yeah, let's move on to our next game, which apparently is going to some interesting sixth inning shenanigans. We have Detroit and Texas, which apparently, according to Doc Jam, they loaded the bases, I think, or they got 3 hits with no outs in the top of the sixth after falling 5-0 to the Rangers, and Three Fingers pitched this entire game for the Rangers. He hasn't given up a run yet, but this might be his fatigue point. And would we see Sonny Streaker come in and try to close out this game, do you think?
We wish.
The world needs more Sonny Streaker. I was sad when he came back and he kind of didn't do very well, but I mean, I still believe in him. He's my oops, sorry for the trade. I'll mute for
Yeah, Sonny fans of him. I think we've both had him on our teams. Yeah, I think he started off in Milwaukee when they were the Mets even last season, and he was there for a little while. He played last season, and then at the beginning of this season, he was on the Brewers. He didn't do very well, and he kind of hopped around team. I think he was on the he was on the Giants, and he was on the Phillies, and I guess he ended up in Texas, and we've kind of been waiting for him to have his chance to come in and make an impact. Here I have his transaction
yeah,
history.
as league historian, I think Sonny Streaker is
the ever elusive league historian himself, Jay Bird.
elected by no one.
Elected by you, actually. That's not no one.
I like to pretend Doc did it, but he's very fascinating. He started on the Twins when the Twins were really bad, and he got traded to the Mets when the Mets were really bad, and immediately after getting traded, he pretty much started doing the Twins started doing really well, and because they got Timber, and then so he was on the Mets for a while, then he went to the Brewers, and then I contacted Cash about trading for him, and I traded this guy who showed up on the Discord once and scrammed because I just it stunk of like, yeah, this guy's not coming back. So I was like, let's trade for a pitcher.
You know what's weird about that?
What?
Garrett Linguini, right?
Yeah.
He posted, and his very first at bat, he posted this long thing about like how his family were like other spaghetti, like types of spaghetti, and like they were in the stands like watching him take his first at bat, and it was so like extensive, and it was a really good write up, and then he just disappeared.
It's a shame, dude. It's like the guy who ended his career with a grand slam because he didn't want to play anymore. And
who was that? That's crazy.
No,
Aaron Range.
Who's that one guy? Who's that one guy or something like that? I think he played for the White Sox. He wanted to get his average above 300, his career average. So he got a base hit, and as soon as he got the base hit, just walked off the field.
John Kruk.
John Kruk, yeah.
Yeah, he ended his shit on the White Sox with 300. So I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, he was like, I'm bored. I'm out of here. Yeah, Aaron Range. He's like he's a Baltimore folk legend. He had an article written about him in season 1 where just like he got bored of the game and like his last at bat he hit a fucking grand slam and he was like, I'm out of here, dude. I think he gave himself an injury, and like one of the Orioles players who I think Skip Church was the reporter's name, and they just wrote like a big write up on him and it was great. I love that guy. He's one of the greatest like folklore legends in the MLR. But who are we talking about again? Wait, who are we talking about again? Shit.
We're talking about Sonny Streaker. Yeah, we were talking about Detroit and Texas and Sonny Streaker.
Oh yeah, Linguini. Yeah, so I traded for Streaker, and then before I even started him, I involved him in the Urich 2-0 trade, and he went there, and he went to the Indians for somebody, and then he went to, and he got put on waivers, and he was claimed by the Nationals, and the Nationals switched him to the Rangers for, I think, nobody. And
for
yeah,
future considerate. Just because the Nationals don't. But
it's usually nobody, but sometimes I do get stuff under the guy the name of future considerations. I've done a few trades where I actually got stuff out of that.
well, I just mean the Nationals don't exist anymore, so it's I mean,
Yeah,
they got them for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, coming back to Texas and Detroit, how about those Tigers? I mean, I hope they at least make it interesting at the end here. They came back on the Expos last session, which is still in the sidebar to this day. Yeah, I like the Tigers. I like their new look. I love Spaghetti Hitchens. He's one of my favorite guys.
Love Spoogles, as you like to call him.
Yeah, Spoogles. You liked that.
Spoogles.
Yeah, and they got Master Cashier. I like those Tigers. I don't think they're gonna do much this year, but I'd be scared of them next year for sure. But yeah, 5-0 Rangers so far. Rangers should hold on, but that game isn't over. No game is over until the fat lady sings. So.
Man, I'm for Team Chaos. I want to see a grand slam.
Okay, so San Francisco at Tampa Bay. This was like a match of the Goliaths. And San Francisco ended up beating them out 3-2, I think.
Yeah, 3-2.
And that might be a bit of a blow to the Rays because as we saw in the AL East, they just have a bunch of really powerful teams in that league, and if you lose one, I mean that could be dangerous to you. But let's talk about this game a little bit. I mean, Daniel Collins, who's pitching for the Giants for the first time. The Giants needed a second besides Peters to sort of give them a competitive edge and sort of maybe try to solidify that NL West. But yeah, Ed Turner gave up 3. I mean, he's seen as a pretty solid pitcher, but I think this was just a match that either could win, and they ended up the Giants ended up pulling on top. I mean, Mabry hit his first homer as a Giant. I mean, that guy just hits homers, so I'm not surprised about that. But do you think the best team won this game, and do you think the Rays have something to worry about after this loss? Whoever wants to answer.
I think so. I've been a big fan of the Giants. I think I talked them up before they were even at the near the top of the league. They were just kind of middling, but with Quint Kimbrell now as their GM, I think he might be even a little bit more involved than what's his name? Jonathan Park was, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a good look for them. They got great guys and they're pretty active, and Quint knows what he's doing. So I think the better team won here. I hope this doesn't. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think the better team won too. And I don't just say that because Tampa Bay's in my division, but no, I do think that San Francisco is on the upswing. Like you said, Quint Kimbrell, the big Quint. I think he knows what he's doing. To answer Jay's question a little bit about the Rays being in trouble, I think they could be in trouble if they don't keep up pace with the Red Sox because, I mean, there's no telling how long the Red Sox are going to keep winning,
Yeah, definitely. And I think
I don't even know.
If we bring up Kimbrell, though, we should probably bring up Reynolds, who took over the Rays and has done a fantastic job. He couldn't be here with us today, but he might be with us the next podcast or so. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, they've got a few pieces there. This is a very different ball club than the notorious Tampa Bay Devil Rays of early season. I think they've really, I mean, Reynolds is just a snazzy dude. I love that guy a lot, and I see a lot of good things from this roster. However, I don't think they are the powerhouse of that division anymore. I mean, Toronto is just too strong. Boston's still holding there, even though they might lose this session because we'll get into that later. But I mean, the Indians put up a great thing that we'll also get to, a great spot. It's just such a strong division, and they just I feel like it's gonna be a long climb upwards if they lose another game like this. This is a must win for them, I think, and they kind of. I mean, it was a tough game. They had to win their tough game, and They just couldn't make it happen, and I hope this isn't important to the playoffs. Like even if they get in, I mean the Giants are sure to get in, so maybe they verse each other in the paper cup. We'll see, but yeah, it's probably a very tough loss for the Rays.
Yeah, just as a closing note on this game, I think somebody said that with this loss, that puts them out of a playoff spot, which is crazy.
I think it's because Blue Jays and Red Sox are up there, so yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, just not a good loss to take, I guess, for the Devil Rays.
And to continue on the AL East train, we're gonna go into Dodgers versus Blue Jays, which is in the fifth right now. All right, actually in the sixth right now. And we see Cameron Brate pitching his last game in a Dodgers uniform, most likely, or at least for the time being. He didn't really fare too well. He gave up 6 runs on 7 hits, and I mean this is a game for SAR Dinka, who's just been. He's just their senior member. He's just the guy who has the most sort of establishment on that roster, and he's very safe on that roster. And just how about those Blue Jays though?
Yeah, they're crazy good. They have Sardinka and Ryan Gassings as their pitchers. That's itself just gives you a very, very good chance to win. Anytime you go out there. They also have Milo and Grams. One's doing a lot better than the other, but they're both very good.
I think Grams. I think this game marks like he has a streak, like a hitting streak or an on base streak that just is kind of insane given the age of this league. So yeah,
it goes back to last season, I think. Right?
I hold that guy is probably the best hitter in this league right now.
Yeah, definitely. I guess with Johnny Hopkins.
And how about Sven Jurgensen going 2 for 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just a good team. I mean, I like the most solid all around team, if you take everything into account.
And could they make themselves even better at the trade deadline? I mean, the wonderfully handsome Keen Davies kind of talked about a possible chipper trade, which would be very, very unfair for the rest of the AL East.
That'd be something to see. Jesus Christ!
Imagine that rotation, man. Dinka, Gasting, and Dipper.
I don't think I want to. I think I'd retire if that happened.
That is not the division you'd want to be in. But how about? I guess we could focus on the Dodgers a little more. I mean, they've been making a few trades. They got Ziff, Artie Ziff, who I think would prove to be better than Cameron Brate in the long run. I mean, I think Brate is a better clubhouse man, but Ziff is slightly better when it comes to on-field stats. And I think the Dodgers could use a lot of on-field stats from their pitching. I think that's a great trade from them, from Gino over there in the front office.
Yeah, we've talked extensively about the troubles that the Dodgers pitching staff has had. Aside from Brate, they also had, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, Commit. His last name's Commit, and then Talios Grayoke. And, they both haven't been great. So having someone solid like Artie Ziff with more innings pitched and, who generally has better stats under his belt is really, really going to help them out.
I mean, it's hard to get a pitcher in this league, and I think the strategy of the Dodgers up until the Ziff trade was to basically get these guys who have not pitched a lot and hopefully make a star out of them by not spending a lot. And I think that that experiment's still going on to this day. And I mean, might see one of these pitchers do very well.
Brady McElroy too. He's on hiatus, but they have him on their roster as well. So
I hope he comes back. He was a cool kid. I don't know why he just disappeared like that.
Yeah, I liked his podcast. Yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but they still have a chance. Or wait, is this game over? I thought
it's top 6 with the Dodgers.
It's top 6. It's not over yet, but
yeah,
I mean, it might as well be.
We'll see.
And never say never. I mean,
I know.
after that Tigers game last session was crazy. They were behind 6-0, beat the best team in the league, or one of the best teams in the league. Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't on the Discord, so I wasn't really paying attention to the other games. But I wish I was able to follow that one. I actually
think I missed that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds awesome though.
Pretty hype.
reminder to everybody to stay on the Discord and see what's happening. Keep your activity up. All right, so next is going to be Arizona versus Houston. I think this was a very decisive game, or this is a very decisive game when it comes to the AL West, which is a very close division. A tie for 3, and in each team is 5 and 6 right now. So not the strongest division, but it's a very claimable division for each of their teams. And right now we got a pitcher's duel right here with Arizona and Houston locked at 0. Sid Kidd's on the mound, and I really see a lot of promise in Sid Kidd. I've umped him before. He's very responsive, and I think he has a talent that a lot of people look over. He has a player of the game under his belt for a fantastic pitching job in Session 2 of this season. And on the other side is Jerome Garcia, who escaped the Nationals' collapsing building before it happened. And, I mean, he's doing well here, too. I think the Astros got a very productive pitcher in him. But, yeah, a pitcher's duel right now, and not a lot to show for offense.
So this is something that I think is pretty important to point out. Astros, you know, they've struggled and they've done well sometimes. You know, they were pretty good when I was on the team. Their pitching was always a little bit of a question mark. You know, you had Wade Wilson and Con Copper, who's a very good strikeout pitcher that has struggled in the past. But they recently made a couple of trades. They got Jerome Garcia, and they also got Owen Urich, actually, right?
Yeah, Owen
Urich. So now their pitching looks a lot more solid. You know, they kept their top guy, Con Copper, that they their previous top guy, Con Copper. You know, they tried out a Jerome Garcia start. This is his first start since joining the Astros, and he's done very well. You know, shutouts are always good. And they have Owen Urich now, so we'll see. I mean, we'll see what they do with that. But just that their pitching staff right now is so good.
I think Houston could very much benefit from a Garcia Urich rotation and have Con Copper as a closer because of that high strikeout rate. I think he could be electric and find a lot of success in that role, in like a Hudson Quinn sort of role. Yeah, that's that pitching staff. Wilbur did a fantastic job just completely 180ing that pitching staff, and I mean that I think the AL West has to do a lot to catch up with the Astros now. But I mean, this game is far from over. It's 0-0, and I mean, maybe the Diamondbacks could pull something out. I mean, as we know from the Diamondbacks, if they have one strong suit, it is that offense. And I mean, it's surprising that given the chance to score runs without giving up a lot of runs in this game, I mean, it's surprising to see that offense get completely silenced.
Also, shout out to probably the second best hitter in the league, Dakota Carolina Montana. That dude's a monster on the Astros.
That guy's a monster, legit.
Yeah, I think he's also going to do big things. You know, for the rest of the season, and maybe he'll be one of those players that pulls the Astros into a playoff spot.
Yeah, never say never. That's going to be a great division to watch. But let's go into.
I mean, if there's anyone that can do it, it's got to be him.
Yeah,
exactly.
So let's go into Orioles versus Cardinals. I mean, this is definitely a Cardinals team. Cardinals are 8-3, but this is definitely not the same Cardinals team that got them there. But I mean, I think they're in equally as capable hands. And they had Whit Bass on the mound, have Whit Bass on the mound, who's currently pitching a shutout. And I mean, the Cardinals went hard in the first inning and currently lead 5-0. And meanwhile, Orioles are trying hard to get off the ground here. I mean, the Orioles have a sort of a history of not having good offense, and it just seems to be continuing here. And I feel like I just hope that team can make the changes it needs to get on tracks one of these days, because I mean, first season was very, very dismal, and second season's not looking very much better for them.
Yeah, I think that's a huge understatement. You know, they have a history of not having good offense. Yeah, they're terrible offensively historically.
No, I think who was starting for the Orioles was Chipper Dipper, right?
Yeah,
didn't he have an atrocious? Yeah, didn't he
Chipper
have
got blown
awful?
Up,
just yeah.
I think he gave up like 3 auto walks in a row because his phone broke, I think, and he had to get a new one. and like
Oh.
It was something like that. I think he popped up on the Discord later. He's like, "Oh, oops, sorry, guys."
Yeah, so at least I'm glad he didn't abandon the league
Oh.
without saying anything. But yeah, I'd
Don't
like
you
to.
get
I'd
don't
like.
you get auto subbed?
I mean, I think that's what they had to do. Like they were like, you
I
need to
think
really
I think they put in
auto-sub.
Jaeger. I think they put in
Yeah.
Jaeger to
Uh,
try to
huh.
finish out the game.
And
You know, your
Jaeger's has
favorite pitcher.
And Jaeger has 4 innings right now, and he's given up 1 hit and 0 earned runs. So how about Jaeger, for real?
I mean, like Kev said, I mean, he's got to be the ace of the staff, right?
And that's
Oh God! Shut up! I forgot that I said that.
That's incredible, but it's incredibly important that Jaeger is performing to the way that he is, because now the Orioles have that trade piece in Dipper that they could use to start a rebuild, because they have Jaeger to fall back on.
I don't know. You really put that much on Jaeger to be better than, if not equal to, Dipper? Are you sure about that?
I wouldn't
Good
say
point.
equal to,
He's
but
awful.
I'd say that currently he's
I
showing
don't know, man.
competency. He's shown enough competency to sort of at least bring that staff along until they can retool a little bit more. But the Orioles,
I think me and you might have different definitions of competency, but I'm just saying.
Even though you you broke my heart in shitpost, and I'm never returning there again.
Oh, Jay, come on, Jay.
Don't get into that in this one.
You know, something that's kind of interesting looking at this Orioles team is when we used to do, regular MLR Tonights, we would always look at, some of the newer guys that were playing. And I think there was one session where the Orioles signed up like 2 or 3 people. Sherby Fully Loaded and Nicholas Romero are 2 of those people. And I think they've started every single game since then. So I think that was kind of a turning point for their roster. It's not really going well, seeing as how they're still 3-8, but it's just interesting.
Because
Sherby's been pretty solid too, hasn't he?
Who?
Hasn't Sherby been pretty solid too?
Yeah, sure. I think Sherby's been pretty solid. Nicholas double or whatever against the Astros when we played them. So they've been solid.
I mean, I'll give old Dom, or as I like to call him, Virginia, credit. He comes out of his gopher hole like once every month and does some things that seem to prove to keep that team alive or give a spark to that team. But it's just there needs to be more to that Baltimore staff or that Baltimore roster, and I'm glad that Meerkat sort of stepped up as like an interim and hopefully make some deals. I mean, there's a lot of free agents still left on the market that probably could benefit Baltimore a lot and maybe turn that team around. Not for this season, because that division is just unclaimable at this point, but they can go into next season with an open mind and see what happens.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They gave up 3 auto Ks.
Yeah, it's
Earl Leitster, Nicky Falk, and then Indy Saint.
That's gonna haunt Dipper forever, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not entirely his fault. It's gonna be on his record though, which kind of sucks.
It does suck.
GMs get scared of auto Ks like crazy. But yeah, let's go to a game that's very near and dear to one of our people's hearts, which is Boston at Pittsburgh, and currently Pittsburgh's leading 3-0, but it's kind of a slog. I mean, they're only in the 3rd inning, I think.
Yeah, that game's been dragging along pretty slowly, as far as I know.
I think Darth Vader has been he was missing in action for a while, but I saw him back recently, so I guess he just had some trouble, had some trouble, and I mean Pittsburgh. Even with Darth Vader kind of being spotty, I mean, he's untouchable right now. 2 hits right now against him, 0 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. I would say definitively that when this guy is on, he is on, and nobody can stop him. But there's a couple of guys that they signed, or at least one. He's nasty. Is that one? Yeah. Is that left field?
Oh, is that his name? He's nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always read it as he's Nazi, and I was like, well, that's a little political, but now I officially read it as he's nasty. Yeah, that guy's fun. He has 2 hits today in his first in his first game. He's perfect. He has a 1 batting average.
Shades of Chuck McCluster over there.
Yeah, definitely. Which means it's all downhill from here.
Oh yeah, it's all downhill. Just you wait.
Yeah, but what else is there to say about this game? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can say is you already touched on this, but Darth Vader's scary. He does. Every pitch he puts in is like calculated, and I feel like he knows exactly what he's doing, and that's scary.
I felt like I had a beat on him, and my team kept like loading the bases on him, but we never scored. We just never could. He always got that out pitch, and like I thought we had a beat on him, but he's always one step ahead of people. And I think though the main reason that the Red Sox are losing right now is because Chuck McCluster is not in this lineup, and that's just atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we don't have anything else to say, we can go to probably one of the best games I've ever umped in my life, which is Cleveland and Milwaukee, which was a roller coaster. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
The final is 10-8 Brewers. I think this amassed. Let's see, it amassed I think 22 hits. Yeah, 22 hits and.
Ooh, what the? What?
Not even like 22 hits and 8 walks. For a 10-8 score. You rarely get a. I like to like measure game length with if they pass 200 comments or not, and it passed it. But yeah, I mean, I could talk a little bit about this game because I umped it. I mean, Brewers took a commanding lead, and just the Indians just worked their way up and scored 8 in the fourth, 5th, and 6th innings. And the deciding runs were an inside the park 0 difference home run by Patrick Stump and a home run from the pitcher Jamison Poe. So this was a crazy
awesome.
game. This was an absolute crazy game. I guess you want to talk about this, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of good things happened this game. We got a lot of offense out of a lot of our guys, Morello and our newer guys, right? Morello, who we traded for, Stump, Halliday, Jamison Poe, and Hightower. Man, Hightower was amazing. We acquired him from the Phillies, and he did amazing. So yeah, a lot of good stuff happened. I played in it too. Got me 2 RBIs, but a lot of good stuff happened this game. We did have a little bit of a rocky end here, where we almost didn't hold on to the lead, and we were not able to swap someone out. We kind of held true. We kind of held on with Jamison Poe, and he was able to close it out. But it was definitely close. It was a little scary. The Cleveland is, they don't get a lot of credit sometimes, and sometimes they get too much credit. But yeah, they're a pretty decent team in a tough division. So yeah, they're scary. I like when you look at the scoring breakdown. There's just a bunch of lines. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I just want to think, like, what if Dick Pole did not auto-K at the end there? I don't know where he went, but it's concerning for the Indians because he's one of their offensive powerhouses, and he just vanished at the end of the game there with an auto-K with 1 out in the bottom of this, or at the top of the 6th, like down by 3. It's just he needed to be there, and it's just a shame he wasn't.
Whenever an auto-K like that happens, I like to try and picture it like in real life, like if it happened in the MLB. How would that go?
He'd get booed off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Well, he wouldn't be booed off the field. He wouldn't be on the field to begin with.
Yeah. Remember in the live game we did, Jay, where we just like, what did we say? Like that they were just throwing strikes.
They were just tossing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
small.
We need to do that again. That was a nightmare, but we need to do that again. I felt so fulfilled after that.
Also,
Kev, you were umping that game, right?
Yeah, that was tough.
That must have been insane.
He was. I felt like he was having the worst day of his life. He was really silent.
It really was not fun. 6. Well, I don't know. I think it would have worked out a lot better if you had one person umping and one person doing the stats, because the stats, the main post is just so hard to go back and. Also, 6 walks. That can't be a record, right? Does anyone know?
I wouldn't think so. I think Rob Pancakes of the Baltimore Orioles has been very known for his high walk, high strikeout sort of dichotomy. I think he probably would have gotten one of those types of games.
And also, I guess with auto. Oh wait, no, those are strikeouts. Auto Ks are strikeouts.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, Dipper walked 3 alone from auto BBs, so I'm sure it's happened before.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably the most exciting, fun game I've ever umped, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it. But yeah, we'll move on to Colorado at Seattle, and this is another shutout. I mean, there's been a lot of one-sided games this session, and this is no different. We're in the bottom of the 5th right now, and currently Colorado leads the Mariners 5-0. I mean, Mariners at one time were the #1 spot in the power rankings, and it's just been down from there. They're currently 4-7, about to be maybe 4-8 if they don't do something with the bottom of the 6th. But yeah, Hank Murphy doing a lot for that Rockies pitching staff, who among a lot of AOS teams in their short history, have not done well in pitching. But now, as we see, Colorado may be turning a corner.
Yeah, I think this is, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say much about the Mariners for this game. Since they're gonna have a new GM as of next session, and they've already made a bunch of moves about that, by the way, because I saw it in chat. The Mariners actually just made a big trade.
Just did.
Yes, they traded away left fielder Miwa Langley to the Montreal Expos for catcher Jack Casatori. So that's pretty big.
I do know that the Phil Coulson, who's the Expos GM, was talking about dealing Jack. Yeah, it's a good trade.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for both teams, I think. Langley was around a lot. They really aren't around as much anymore. But if they can get that activity back, they've been hitting well. I mean, they don't really have a bunch of at bats under their belt, but they've been hitting well. Good player so far. I think Casatori's been solid. So
I think both of these teams are sort of swapping their guys that used to be active and kind of fell off the map. I think though Corbett's getting a lot more of a high end out of this, because Casatori, of course, is an our baseball mod. He's around Reddit more than most. I think he has so much Reddit karma, so he shouldn't be expected to do things like auto K. And I mean, if he stays around, this is probably a win for Corbett. But I mean, Miwa, he could come back and immediately change the outlook on that. I mean, we don't know. I mean,
I will say that knowing, Langley, a change of scenery might be what they kind of need to be more interested, to be active again. I think they've been kind of trying to make a move away from the Mariners for a while. So, I think it's a good trade for both sides. And if Casatori's, just always going to be reliable, and Langley maybe gets some more activity, after being traded to a new, more active team, then yeah, I think it's going to be good for both of them.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, Mariners didn't really always have an active GM, but now they do. I mean, with all the toss-ups that have been happening recently, I mean, all we're seeing is just a lot of guys who just love this league being up at the top of it and really doing what they have to do. And this is just a testament to that. I hope Langley finds what he's looking for in Montreal. But yeah, as we go back to the game, though, I mean, Seattle 5-0 so far. They're down, and we should see Colorado holding on to it. So, I mean, this would at least tie them for the NL West title, or NLS West lead. Or no, I'm thinking of the AL West.
We've also, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We've also talked on this show a lot about how the Mariners are a very offensively streaky team. When they do have good offense, like, it's really, really good. In this game, they've only gotten 2 hits, so I think it's going to be a rough game, especially for a team that's not really well known for that.
And I mean, I don't think Cameron Brate's going to exactly be the pitcher that they need. I hope he does well in a change of scenery, though.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like when Streaker got traded to the Rangers, and I was expecting him to be Cy Young lockdown.
Yeah. Have we ever seen that? Like, and he just starts killing it on a new team? I think if anything, it's the other way around.
Let me think.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I don't think we've been around long enough to really gauge that.
What about Pi?
Pi struggled in Minnesota at first, and then he kind of got better, and then he came here, and then he started to struggle at first, and he kind of got better. I don't know. I think Pi's been kind of consistent across his teams.
Yeah.
Consistently streaky.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go to our last game of the night, which is my favorite, Oakland at Phillies, and this is a 1-0 contest. I mean, this is sort of telling of Oakland's roster problems that seem to have gotten fixed, but I mean, there's still a lot of growing pains in Session 12. We've seen a lot of auto walks, and currently the Phillies lead 1-0 against their former Paper Cup rivals, and that's the difference is Fly Spaceman, who, I mean, I'll speak for him. He had a lot of trouble going into the season for a while, and just he suddenly got into a streak where he was like 7 for 7, and he hit another home run to lead off the game, and that's been scoring so far. I mean, this has been definitely a pitcher's duel because each team has only given up 1 hit so far. I mean, we've got Sal Shark in one corner, and we got Oliver Yu in the other corner. We had Urich.
I love Oliver Yu, man.
I love that guy too. He's not leaving this place for anything. He's stuck here forever. But Urich accidentally got subbed into that game to start, and he pitched one out, which was his last out in a Phillies uniform for the time being. He got a strikeout, so I think that's pretty decent. But yeah, Oliver Yu came in. He has 3 strikeouts, no hits so far. He's a really good. He's really refined himself, and I think that has a lot to do with the scouting that's really improved on this ball club. Just the chemistry in this team. I fucking love these guys. We're so close, and it's just like I really would like to see us work really well in the future, because just the last few games have been heartbreaks. I mean, last 2 sessions we've had a pretty good lead and we've blown it both times. We got walked off by the Rockies when Patrick Doyle hit a
Oh
RBI
no,
double.
against Patrick Doyle too.
in extra innings. And then I think we led 4-0 in the next game, I think against the Dodgers, and then we lost against them. It was just 2 heartbreaks, and I mean this game is hanging by a thread, so just crossing the fingers, hoping it works. How about you guys? What do you think about this game?
Just to talk a little bit about the other side on this game, the A's. They've had a few people, or maybe just one. I don't know how many auto Ks there've been. 3. It's rough for Oakland, and they've been trying. They made a bunch of trades before this to try to even field the lineup, just with 9 active people, but they're hanging in there. I think just the fact that they're getting this many people to show up and swing, is an accomplishment in of itself. So yeah, we'll see how this game goes, but I think it's a good and the Phillies can not get heartbroken again.
No, I like the
Go on, sorry.
I like both. Okay. No, I like both sides. I like the A's a lot, especially now that JP Panic is the GM. Like I said before, he's making big strides to try and turn the ball club around. I like the Phillies, but I think you already know that.
You're a Philly for life, Chuck.
Dude, I don't know about that, but what I do know is, again, I love Oliver Yu. That guy's honestly just such a nice guy. He's nice to talk to. And I love pitching duels like this game. So
Sal Shark.
All around just
I mean, sorry, I was going to just bring up real quick, like, with Timber being out of the league, do you think Sal Shark could repeat, like, especially given starts like this with Cy Young?
I think he definitely could. I think he could.
Sorry, what were you going to say to finish that off? Were you going to say something, or?
Who now?
Never mind. It's whatever.
I was trying to think of who else aside from Timber could kind of. Sorry, we're talking about.
Yeah,
Chipper maybe, but he just had a rough start.
Gasting. That Toronto, right. I think Toronto, one of those pitchers is going to be one of the top guys.
Ryan Gasting's a good pitcher.
Superbone isn't great, but
he's got
a lot of innings pitched.
He's had to carry that team on his shoulders, so the more innings you pitch, the more likely you're going to falter.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I wanted to say before we ended this discussion here that if JP, I mean, the AL West is so grabbable. I mean, currently, they're still at the top there with the other guys. If they're able to come back from this game, they'd be able to tie. They'll at least stay tied with the lead for the AL West. But if JP can keep this team afloat long enough to get them into the playoffs, maybe even win the Paper Cup, then I think that he's definitely a manager of the year. No offense to Peppers, but I think that'd be just.
Hey, now, no, wait. I don't know, maybe we'll see.
Wait, maybe.
I mean, if you want to argue against Panic, who is
I mean, Panic's no Peppers, you know what I mean?
We'll see how the Red Sox finish it off, because we were talking about their roster earlier, and it's
well, the roster's a little all over the place, but I still think that, barring disaster, I feel like the year. Just my 2 cents there. I don't know.
We'll watch out. We'll watch out for disaster. We'll see what happens.
Hey, it could be coming. I don't know. I who knows?
Wins. Yeah, 6 wins is that's just a lot of wins.
Yeah.
Someone says, "Hello, Colorado is winning the cup." Thoughts?
Nah.
Yeah. No.
Good luck with that.
No, I think they're not. I don't know. The Giants are really good in that division. The Padres are up and coming, and the Diamondbacks aren't dead yet. So I think they got their work cut out for them if they want to. We'll see.
Yeah, but I think this is a great time in the league, because we might start seeing elimination threads like blank has been eliminated from playoff contention, and that'll be fun. Well, we're gonna start to get these playoff races extremely
those
heated.
flares, boys. Fade those flares.
Maybe we could probably figure that out. I mean, I'm not a mod anymore, so I don't even have to figure that out. So, Preller, get on that.
Yeah, Preller. I know you're listening.
Yeah, but before we wrap up, I did want to talk about a new thing that we're going to be trying in Eco. I wanted to sort of give the public an ear in this to see what they think and maybe get excited about it. But I recently, with the help of Zum, who created a calculator for it, I recently sort of created a system in which players basically, so the pitcher will choose to either pitch a fastball or a breaking ball, and the player has to guess if it's a fastball or a breaking ball. And if they guess right, they get a better chance of hitting the ball, and if they guess wrong, they get a worse chance of hitting the ball. And both give if a pitcher chooses a breaking ball, there's more disparity between if they guess right and if they guess wrong. So there's more reward if you fool the hitter, and less reward if you don't fool the hitter. And fastball's a little safer, but we're gonna test that soon in Eco, and hopefully you'll get a better sense of it rather than me just kind of explaining it off the top of my head. But I'm incredibly excited about it. I think it'd give a new fresh face to this league and its mechanics, and hopefully it'll give more things to be excited for as a batter, to sort of more strategy and more scouting, and just everybody can sort of refine their scouting and give a new intake on or a new fresh take on how they're going to approach the game. And hopefully if it works out, we still need to test it to make sure it isn't too OP on one side, if there's not enough offense or there's too much offense. But yeah, you should see that in an Eco game, and maybe you'll be able to sign up. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to be done. But yeah, get excited. We might have a slight tweak to the system, and hopefully that'll be out soon, and we can all have fun. But yeah, you guys...
I mean, it sounds interesting. No, actually, it does sound interesting. It sounds like a good idea on paper. I don't know how exactly that would work come game time.
I mean,
I like the entire...
Yeah, I said, that Zum made a calculator, so maybe I could show you it. I mean, I don't see why not. I could give you a sort of better idea.
The only
Well, real quick, I just want to say I like the entire idea of the Eco Playground and bringing in new ideas. I think that's pretty... Look forward to see what comes out of that. Go on, Kev.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea for sure. How would that work with the Reddit only people who just type numbers when they get pinged?
Well, instead, we'll make sure they all know Like you
Yeah,
type
you could.
pitch type and then number, and it'll be just as ingrained. I mean, it's not you don't have to exactly jump through hoops. Just add an extra thing. Just guess or fastball 350, and then if it's like fastball 250, then that's you get a better chance than if it's breaking ball 250, for example. Right. You guess correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how it is. It'll definitely take a few sessions to get normalized, and we'll have to maybe remind more than a few batters. Like, yeah, you have to add type of pitch too, but hopefully I just want to add more interactivity to the entire game as a whole, and it's a very simple addition. I feel like, I mean, you just add an extra thing to your post, and I feel like it adds just oodles, for lack of a better word, oodles of opportunity when it comes to stats and stuff, or scouting and stuff, and strategy, and just overall batting and pitching, and just the game as a whole. So yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this bad boy up?
I'm excited, to see kind of what has happened with the league in the past couple of days. I know it's been rough for like 2 sessions or whatever now.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we're finally starting to hit a groove. I feel like we're finally starting to, kind of calm down a bit.
Yeah, we're hitting our stride for sure. And
don't hit stride.
We have the trade deadline coming up. We have the trade deadline coming up. The home stretch of the season, so we'll see.
I will say that I've never been more excited about this league than I am right now. I think I think we have had so many changes that have just been positive and have just changed teams for the better. I mean, Oakland didn't have an active GM for most of its history, and even when they did, like, he was a very divisive figure, and now we just have like one of the greatest guys in the league, just like making moves and making that team something great. And it's just, I feel like whatever has happened in the last month or so, we're sort of detoxing right now. We're sort of coming into a league, and with the new members and new free agents, I feel like we're just coming into a place that's better than it's ever been. And just I guess I would urge people to just stick with it, stay active, stay in the community, and I think great things will come from it. I really do. I truly believe that. I'm really excited for the people we have here and what might come in the future.
Well said.
No, I just like to add that I definitely is around. It's really exciting. I'd love to get a more active community going. I think AJ Preller's been doing a really good job as commissioner too.
Yeah, I'd like to
Jay
shout
said
out
it's all just
Preller. He's been. I'd like to shout out Preller. He's been very fantastic so far.
No, like, honestly, I do think he's been doing a really good job. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens from here on out.
Also, shout out to Lane Drew, new member of the
new OTC boy.
Yeah. Boy! So that's pretty exciting. He's gonna do a good job, I think.
I love him.
I love Stride, man. I love the guy.
We need the OTC needed that face that's like PR. He's great. He's just a nice, kind, wholesome dude that really can do the job well, and I think Lane's the perfect guy to just really be a good face for that OTC and really makes things happen.
I feel like it's been a long time coming, honestly. I feel like it's just a net positive overall.
Yeah, and also I'd like to shout out Zum and Wilbur, who both have just
Wilbur. Sure.
They've been working. Yeah, they've all been working on fantastic.
All of OTC, man, honestly. Even Doc before he stepped down. I mean, they've all been doing really good stuff.
I've seen some of their plans, and like after the session ends, you're gonna be blown away. You're gonna love what's gonna happen with this league after the session, and I just guess I could just say stay tuned, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
I'm good.
I have nothing more to say.
All right, so it shouldn't be. We should be able to keep these up. I don't know if we're gonna keep them up weekly. We haven't really gotten to the rhythm yet. We might do it in the next week, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you for listening. Whether you're listening live or listen later, we're probably gonna post this on the subreddit to get it a little bit more traction. Yeah, but thank you for listening to MLR Tonight, and we'll see you guys later.
Good night.
See you guys.